Our San Francisco Giants are coming off a historic month of April. Right now, we're the best team in baseball, and we're looking to keep it going here in the month of May. Our season started off a little bit slowly. We started the year 1-4, but since then, we are 24-4. I don't think you could have drawn up a more perfect opening month of the year. The offense was good, the pitching was good, the team stayed healthy. It literally could not have gone any better. I'm sure May will not be better than April, but we're hoping that we'll be able to maintain our status as the best team in the league, and hopefully we'll be able to stay healthy. Offensively, we are tearing the cover off the ball. First in hits, first in runs, first in home runs. We are ranking very high in every offensive statistical category other than walks and stolen bases, which we're towards the middle of. We've had one of the best offenses in baseball. Now, I will say, I wish this play was a little bit more consistent from everybody in the lineup. We've got some guys who are playing really, really well, and other guys who have been really disappointing. We'll start with the positives. I think we have to open things up with Ian Happ because, my goodness, has he been electric. He's cooled off over the last week or so. His average has gone all the way down to 360. I know, not great. But he has been unreal. He's in third place right now for the NL MVP. He's hitting for contact. He's hitting for power. He's been ridiculous. We've got to talk about these two catchers because they have been otherworldly. In 10 games, Patrick Bailey is one home run away from tying his career high. He has doubled the amount of home runs that he does strikeouts. His slugging is above 1,000. His OPS is above 1,500. And he has a 1.4 WAR as a backup with 37 at-bats. Given how good he's been this year and how good he was in the postseason last year, I would have thought that he'd be getting more playing time. But Blake Sabol's been just as good. 1.8 WAR, OPS above 1,100, leads all catchers in home runs. The production we've got out at the catcher position from these two guys with a 3 WAR and 15 home runs, that's more than most teams are going to get through the entire duration of the season, and we've gotten it within the span of a month. That's wild. Kyler Rodriguez has also been really good. We're seeing some flashes of contact. He's hitting 319. But as for some guys who haven't been as good, Munetaka Murakami is hitting 145. Otherwise, he is drawing walks. He is hitting for power. His defense has been fine. But 145 is unacceptable. He's got to pick it up. Tommy Rogers is also not hitting for a very good average, and his on-base is lower than his average was last year. Obviously, that's not ideal, but I'm not too worried about it. He's still hitting for good power. The walk rate has improved. It's just a matter of consistently getting on base. He hasn't shown that yet, but he hit for a high average last year. He's improving the walk rate this year, so I'm confident with time we're going to see him become a more consistent player at the top of the order. Stone Garrett also is not getting on base at a high level, but otherwise he's been good. He's hitting for a ton of power. It's just that his average is way down and his walk rate is way down. Last year might be an outlier with his walk rate being at around 12, but given how good his plate discipline is, it should definitely be a lot higher than 6% as well. I would say somewhere between 9 and 11% is probably the sweet spot for him. Defensively, we've been a little subpar, though, which is disappointing. I've really focused on making this team better defensively, and we've only improved marginally. As for the pitching, the staff has been excellent. Second in ERA, tied for second in terms of hits allowed, tied for fourth in runs allowed, tied for fourth in earned runs. In terms of home runs, we are tied for first, so we're hitting the most home runs, but we're allowing the least. Fifth in strikeouts, tied for seventh in walks. It's a little bit odd that our worst stat here is walks allowed, because that's the number one stat I look for with pitchers. The rotation's had its ups and downs. Aaron Savale started the year off poorly. He's doing better. Same can be said for Kyle Harrison. But the real story has been Mason Miller. My goodness, has he been impressive. 2.27 ERA, sub-1 whip. K rate is up. Home run rate is way better. His FIP is way better as well. He's been our best pitcher so far, in my opinion, this year. He has been electric. He's 11th in terms of NL pitching WAR. Interestingly, Logan Webb is first, but he's also getting no All-Star consideration. Logan Webb may never make the All-Star game at this point. The rotation's been good, a little bit worse than last year, but still really good. I think the big difference pitching-wise, though, is the bullpen. Last year, it was inconsistent. This year, it's been awesome. Camilo Doval has been the best reliever in baseball. He has not allowed a run yet. He's currently in first place for the reliever of the year, but it's not just him. Jojo Romero has not allowed a run yet. John Schreiber has been a really good pickup. And Yel De Los Santos has been fantastic. Outside of Dylan Tate and James Karinchak, the bullpen has been elite. We are going to make a pretty big roster move. I'm ready to call up Johnny Hackman. He had a really good spring training. He's had a really good first month in the minors. I wanted him to start the year on the big league roster, but there wasn't a spot for him. Now I feel like there is, because Heliot Ramos isn't hitting the ball that well. He's out of minor league options, and we are going to put him on optional waivers, but I'm pretty confident he won't get claimed, and if he does, we can claim him right back. Ramos really hasn't played all that well since May of last year. I did think he had a pretty good postseason run, but I think Johnny Hackman gives us a better chance to win right now. So he's going to platoon. He's going to play a lot against lefties, including this upcoming matchup here against the Mets with David Peterson on the mound. And we're going to player lock this game for Johnny Hackman making his big league debut. The first round rookie out of the University of Michigan with only 1 month of minor league experience is getting the call up. And we kind of knew when we drafted Johnny Hackman, we're picking a guy who's going to be ready to go right away. Maybe the ceiling with him isn't all that high, but he's going to be able to produce for us this season at the big league level. He's currently our 9th ranked prospect, but I think he's a lot better than some of the guys above him on the list. And you can tell with his 50 Fangraphs value, only a few players ahead of him have at least a 50. And obviously Scott Rios at the top, kind of in a tier of his own within our farm system. So already tied at 1, J.P. Crawford drove in a run off of an RBI single, and we've got 2 runners aboard here with nobody out. So we get to see what Hackman looks like in an early high-leverage situation as he takes the first pitch for ball 1. Looks like it might have scraped the strike zone. I think he got a little bit lucky there with the call from the umpire, but he'll start this count ahead 1-0. We're going to show this first at bat in its entirety. I want to see him work the count. I want to see him work the strike zone. I think he's got good plate skills for a 21-year-old. Good plate vision, good plate discipline as he fouls off the sinker. Count is even at 1-1. Hackman gets a piece of it. High and deep and a left. It's got some carry at the track, and it is caught. It would have been Cinderella-esque to start his career with a 3-run blast. I thought it had a chance off the bat. Unfortunately, not quite. Whoa, a lot of offense here. We are tied at 5. Looks like the Mason Miller Linsanity run might be coming to a close. It appears he has not had a very good game here today. Same can be said for David Peterson, who didn't even make it out of the 3rd inning, as Hackman goes down looking on the fastball from Jose Suarez. Pitch was a little bit inside. He wanted to be disciplined. Unfortunately, it does not work out, and that'll bring us into the 5th. Jung-Hoo Lee and Stone Garrett drive in a pair. Garrett gets his run off of the triple, and it's now 7-5. That was a close one. Good take from Hackman. Count now evened up at 2-2. And this one is crushed into right. Jake Fraley, the former Giant, at the track, at the wall. It is caught. I didn't know if that one had enough to go over the fence, but I thought at the very least it'd go off the wall. We'd be looking at a double, maybe a triple. Unfortunately, not quite. Into the 8th. Chopper over to 3rd. Play is made. Throw to 1st is in time. Johnny Hackman goes 0 for 4 in his debut, but I do think there were some positives. He had 2 shots into the outfield, nearly go over the fence. I thought he hit the ball well. I thought he worked the count well, and our team won. Overall, a really good showing offensively from the rest of the guys as we do take it by a final score of 7-5. The Mets started off hot, as did we, and then both offenses really cooled down. Nobody scored after the 4th, so that's a credit to these bullpens. Jung-Hoo Lee played well. Ian Happ played well. Mason Miller didn't, but Carson Wisenhunt came in and did an awesome job. 3 scoreless innings. Carson Wisenhunt has been unbelievably good this year as our long reliever. If something were to happen to one of our 5 starters, I would feel very good with sliding him into the rotation. From there, we're going to simulate the rest of this series against the Mets. Take a look at this 3-game set against the Philadelphia Phillies. So we'll hop into this game here against the Mets. This is the 2nd game of the series, and it's a close one. Tied at 2, pair of runners on, 2 away, and Patrick Bailey has his hit streak on the line dating back to last year. Bailey rips it into right. That one goes off the wall. Giants take the lead. It's 3-2. They're going to hold the other runner at 3rd. That was actually kind of close at 2nd. He probably should have slid but it's an RBI double for Patrick Bailey. The hit streak now sits at 12, and the Giants lead 3-2. In the 8th inning, we'd get another double from Orlando Arcia to drive in another run, and that is how we would win this game. 4-2 your final. Really good showing from Tristan McKenzie. 8 innings, 2 earned runs. McKenzie's been inconsistent. I've liked the flashes we've seen from him. Haven't seen it on a start-by-start basis, which was kind of the issue with him in Cleveland. Solid day for the offense. 4 runs, 8 hits, nothing spectacular, but we did what we needed to. Now here into this last game, we're going for the sweep, and it's going to be a challenge. We're down 3-1. We're down to our last out, but we've got runners on the corners. Leover Peguero is going to come over at first. He's the tying run. I'd rather him in than Orlando Arcia. Rogers at the plate. Swing and a miss on the 100-mile-an-hour fastball from Trumpet Man Edwin Diaz. And the Mets win this game 3-1. They avoid the series sweep, but we still end up taking 2 of 3, which, considering how we played in April, is a little bit disappointing. But you can never complain taking 2 of 3 in the majors, so we will gladly take it. Not a great day from the offense. Rogers had a couple hits. Arcia made some plays. Otherwise, not much. Decent game from Logan Webb. Nothing spectacular, but he's not necessarily the reason why we lost, per se. That'll bring us into this matchup here against the Phillies. We're going to play this first game. Aaron Civale is the only one of our 5 starters who I haven't played a game with this year, so that's why we're going to pick this one. And the Phillies are in an interesting spot because they've been really disappointing this year, 14-22. They've been a mainstay in the postseason over the last few years, but I think their window for contending is about to close. Many key players on this roster are not under contract for next year. Brandon Marsh, Luis Robert, Bryson Stott, all of these guys are free agents. It's now or never for the Phillies, and the fact that they've been this bad this early into the year is a concern. We'll see how they do against Aaron Civale, who started the year off poorly, but has looked a lot better as of recent. Harper flies it into left. Johnny Hackman makes the play. I think Hackman's going to see most of his time in left when he does play the field. He's DH'd in his first couple of games, so this is his first look on defense. He's not much of a defender. He's not a liability out there, but there's nothing he really offers defensively either. Let's take a look at the veteran righty, Aaron Nola. He's been solid this year. Nothing spectacular, but definitely not bad. 3.83 ERA, 1.19 whip. He'll face off against Ian Happ, and this one is crushed into right center field. Back at the track, at the wall, it is caught. I would be willing to bet that is a home run in the other 29 parks. Ian Happ clobbered that ball, but because Oracle Park and all, it's caught. Blake Sabol goes down on the fastball. Sabol hitting in the 3 spot today. He's earned it with how well he's played, but Nola K's him up. No score, no base runners for either side thus far as we move into the second. Bryson Stott draws a walk, and we've got our first base runner of the night. Stott is aboard for Dominic Smith, who's played pretty well this year with the Phillies. Full count, rips it up the middle for a base hit. And now the Phillies are getting a little 2-out rally here. They've got a pair of runners on. They need to set the tone in this game. They're on a pretty long losing streak right now. I think they've dropped like 6 or 7 in a row as Cannon, Smith, and Jigba goes down on the sinker, and Civale gets out of the inning as it remains scoreless. Let's move into the top of the third. No change here for the San Francisco offense. One away for Trey Turner. Up the middle, over the glove of Civale, and that one is going to be a single into center field. Obviously, Trey Turner is lightning fast, so we've got to keep an eye on his speed and the possibility of a stolen base. Brandon Marsh lines this one into right center. That goes into the gap. Trey Turner will be waved around third. He's headed for home. The throw to the plate is in time! Great job there by Rogers in center, and then Ian Happ at second base to make the play, keep this scoreless tie. Phillies looking to change that quickly as Bryce Harper rips this one into right. It goes off the wall. Lee to Happ to second. In time, the Giants throw out another runner. This is the defense that I've paid for over the last year. Marsh's run will still count, though, so the Phillies do lead 1-0 now. But great job by the Giants to throw out a pair as we go bottom 3. One away. Patrick Bailey goes down on the circle change. It's been tough sledding for the San Francisco offense thus far. Aaron Nola has dominated. We're having Tommy Rogers play at the 9 hole today, doing some experimenting given his struggles of getting on base. Nearly does there, but a nice reach at first prevents that. 9 up, 9 down. It's a perfect 3 innings for Aaron Nola, and we move into the 4th. Luis Robert leads things off, and he goes down looking on the fastball. Great pitch there by Savale, looking to pick things up after a rocky and somewhat lucky 3rd inning, where his defense really did him a solid as Alec Boehm goes down on the sinker, and that'll bring us to the bottom of the 4th. Ian Happ nearly homered in his last at-bat. This time he draws a walk. And finally, the Giants get a runner on base. What are they going to do with this opportunity? Nothing. Actually, we're going to ground into a double play, which is worse than nothing. The inning comes to an abrupt end. Even with the walk and the base runner, it's still 12 up, 12 down and away for Nola. And that'll bring us to the bottom of the 5th. 2 away for Munetaka Murakami. And he hits this one well. Into center. It's got some carry at the track, at the wall. It's caught. Not quite enough carry. Luis Robert is under it. It's been a pitching duel tonight. Aaron Nola has been unreal. He's got a no-hitter through 5. Aaron Savale has, in fact, picked it up since the 3rd inning, as that'll bring us to the top of the 6th. Savale still in, as he's unable to scoop this one from Turner. It's a leadoff base hit. And with the middle of the order due up, this could be an opportunity for the Phillies to really do some damage. Brandon Marsh now, 2-1 up the middle. Base hit again. So now the Phillies start with 2 runners aboard, and I'm a little bit worried this could go haywire, just as the 3rd inning almost did. So because of that, we're going to take Savale out of the game. He has a slightly shorter leash than in the past, and I think if this was last year, we would have stuck it out with him. But I don't have the same trust in him that I did a year ago, and his night is over after 5 innings. He overall had a pretty good outing, though. Only 1 earned run so far. Hopefully that sticks, especially with Mr. High Leverage, James Karinchak, in the game. He has not had a good season, though, and it looks like his season will be getting worse. Bryce Harper ignites this one into right, and that one is gone. The Phillies lead it 4-0, and the decision to roll with Karinchak out of the bullpen clearly does not end up being a good one. James Karinchak is supposed to be the high leverage guy, but instead he's just, not good. High leverage, no leverage, doesn't matter. He's been bad. Bryson Stott hits it high and deep. This one travels into Triples Alley, but Jun-Hoo Lee tracks it down. Still a big inning, though, for the Phillies as they get 3 with a monster blast for Bryce Harper. He's driven in all 4 runs so far tonight. Bottom 6th. Could this be the first hit? Into the gap, it is caught. I feel like the Giants have hit the ball well, too. Well, considering the circumstances. We've had a few really close calls as Rogers gets a piece of it. It's hit high, not overly deep, though, and that is now 6 no-hit innings for Aaron Nola. He's made it through the entire length of the lineup twice. We'll see if he can do it one more time and look to make some history. Into the 7th now, out of the bullpen for the Giants will be John Schreiber. He's been a really good pickup, 2.29 ERA. He's given us everything we could have hoped for. High volume, and he's performed, given all the innings he's gotten. Now he does start off with a walk here against Dom Smith. Smith and Jigba now puts it on the ground. This could be 2, and it will. Few guys playing out of position. Ian Happ is at 2nd. Blake Sabol is at 3rd. But given the rest of the lineup, that's where those guys are going to play. Diego Cartaya strikes out, and Schreiber gets through the inning pretty easily as we go bottom 7. Jun-Hoo Lee puts it on the ground. Turner fields it slowly. Throw to first is not in time! And the no-hitter is over. You got to feel for Aaron Nola because that really shouldn't have been a hit. Trey Turner was lollygagging out there at short, and he has no excuse. He's one of the fastest players in the league. I would imagine after this inning, Aaron Nola is going to chew him out in the dugout, and honestly, I don't blame him. He should. That'll bring up Blake Sabol. He draws a walk, and might this game be slipping away from Nola a little bit? 2 on, 1 away, opportunity to get back in the game. And so, of course, the Phillies are going to get cute, get some style points, and turn the inning-ending double play against the former Philly, J.P. Crawford. Rather than complain about our team being unclutch, because that's what I would normally do, instead I want you guys to look at this art. Bryson Stott got to the ball slowly. It really wasn't that great of a play, but still beautiful. Behind the back, then the barehanded throw by Trey Turner. That was pretty cool, I cannot lie. Into the 8th now, and Yel de Los Santos into the game. Look at his batting average against righties, .026. He has been unhittable this year. Well, I guess except for Brandon Marsh. That's going to go for an infield single. Good play by Crawford to get to it quickly, but Marsh is just a little bit too fast. Bryce Harper now, he's had a big night, and that will continue. Single into left field. Marsh looks for third, and he is safe despite a nice throw by the rookie Johnny Hackman. Runners on the corners for Luis Robert. Hits this one well into center, and that should score Brandon Marsh from third on the sacrifice. Just the fourth run all year that De Los Santos, another former Philly, has led up, and it is 5-0. Alec Bohm strikes out, and that'll wrap up the top of the eighth. Phillies add another run. They lead at 5-0. Considering the offense, or lack thereof today, I don't know if there's light at the end of the tunnel. Oh, Turner misplays it, and that'll go for another hit. The two hits Aaron Nola has led up today have both been directly because of Trey Turner. If I was the manager, he's going on the bench. That's inexcusable, and unfortunately for Nola, his night is now over. 7 innings, 2 hits allowed. Neither of them should have been hits. Now, albeit there were some other plays, the Ian Happ swing in the first inning, that probably should have been. But if I'm Nola, I would be livid with Trey Turner. So he'll be replaced by Wander Suero, who, if you remember, was in our organization for a short time. We kind of tried to resurrect his career. Didn't work, but it has worked in Philly. The back end of their bullpen is so fascinating because their closer is Jose Leclerc, their setup man is Scott Barlow, and their other setup man is A.J. Minter. All of those guys have been on our team at some point during the series. All 3 of them were kind of disappointing with us, and none of them have been good with the Phillies this year, but it's kind of funny. Kyler Rodriguez draws a walk, 2 on, nobody out, things are getting interesting. Arcia off the bench, goes down looking in his pinch hit opportunity. That'll bring up Patrick Bailey. Hit streak again on the line, and he again comes up big. Rips it into the left. 1 run scores, it's 5-1. Kyler rounds third, heads home, play at the plate is not in time. 2-run double for Patrick Bailey, and it's now 5-2. The Giants are making it interesting. 13-game hitting streak now for Bailey. Jung-Hoo Lee, who started the hit streak, if you can even count it that, hits this one high and deep and a right. Fraley at the track, at the wall, it is caught. Another close call. We have gotten unlucky with that today. We do get 2. We made some progress, I guess. Into the 9th now, Dylan Tate comes in the game. Hasn't pitched well this year, albeit small sample size, but he has certainly struggled. 500 average for lefties against him this year, but he does strike out Bryson Stott. Dominic Smith does as well. And that'll bring us to the bottom of the 9th. We'll take a look at Jose Leclerc, the former Giant, in for the save. We had him in Season 2. He was horrible. Traded him away to the Phillies, where he was really good last year. This season, it's been a little more up and down. As Sabrol draws a walk with 1 away. Okay, there's something. A base runner. J.P. Crawford now. He's had a rough one, 0 for 3. Goes down looking on the circle change. Great pitch there by Leclerc. Where was this in 2025 for us? Game comes down to Stone Garrett. Pops it up into foul grounds. Harper is under it. And the Phillies take the first of 3 by the final score of 5-2. Really rough day for us offensively. We didn't get a base hit until the 7th inning. We got a little bit of a rally going, I guess, with the double by Patrick Bailey. But otherwise, the offense did not hit the ball well at all. Just 3 base hits in this game. 5 runs, 9 hits for the Phillies. Big showing for Harper. He had 3 hits, drove in 4 runs. Aaron Nola was unbelievably good. Again, the 2 hits he really shouldn't have let up. You can make the argument they both should have been called errors on Trey Turner. But nonetheless, the offense was bad. Savale was fine. I wouldn't say he was good, but he wasn't bad, I guess. The pitching isn't necessarily the reason why we lost, but it wasn't our best day on the mound either. So now we're on a 2-game losing streak. Our first losing streak, I think, since early in the year when we had that early skid and started 1-4. Hopefully it doesn't carry over as we simulate through these next few weeks, wrapping up the series against the Phillies. 3 on the road in Arizona, 3 on the road in Colorado, 4 at home against Pittsburgh. No games against teams over 500 before our set against the Dodgers. So within these 11 games, I would hope the team does pretty well. Let's hop into this first game here against Arizona. We split the last 2 against the Phillies, so we lost the series, but at least we won 1. Hit streak on the line again for Patrick Bailey, and again he comes up big. Single for the lead. It's 4-3. When in doubt, when you need a big hit, Patrick Bailey has been the guy throughout the entire season. His hit streak is up to 15 games, probably one of the longest active marks in baseball. Bottom 9, it's now 5-3, but the door is open. 2 on, 2 out. Ketel Marte leads the National League in WAR this year. He has been ridiculously good. Facing off against the best reliever in the NL, Camilo Doval, and it looks like Doval wins this battle. Grounder to third. Happ makes the play, and the Giants win this game by the final score of 5-3. Big showing here for San Francisco. We ended up winning each of the first 2 games, so already we lead the series 2-0. 3-game winning streak, getting some momentum back after our little losing streak. Solid day from the offense, solid day from the pitching. Logan Webb allowed 3 runs. They were all unearned, though. Another rough day for the defense. We actually didn't let up any earned runs, to be exact. That'll bring us into the last game. This one is not so close. We're up 11-1. Tommy Rogers has gone deep 3 times, and he is looking for a 4th home run. We'll see if we can do it. 2-2 for Tommy, and he chases the slider. He wanted to be aggressive. He wanted to go for number 4. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen. Stone Garrett does go deep, though. We do end up winning this game 12-1. Big showing for the offense. Strong start from Aaron Savale. Obviously, Rogers led the way with his 3 home runs. But we had 3 more home runs from Lee, Happ, and Garrett. Aaron Savale was solid, continuing to pitch better than he did early in the season. But his start was short-lived because he fractured his forearm and is going to be out for a month or 2. That's not good. He'll be out at best until mid-June. Somewhere between mid-June and the All-Star break is when he's coming back. Obviously, it's been an up-and-down start to the year for him. But minus his first 2 games, he has been pretty solid, so that does suck. Now, I will say, I'm confident with Carson Whisenhunt taking his spot. He was really good in the last episode. He's been even better today. ERA is at 1.73. He has been outstanding. Between Yariel Rodriguez and Fernando Molina, I think we're going to call up Molina to take his spot as the long reliever. He played a little bit last year. He was pretty good. Played a little bit in the postseason last year. Wasn't so good, but I do believe in him. In our very next game, look at Tommy Rogers. Triple shy of the cycle against the Rockies, continuing his hot streak. This one probably isn't a triple, but it's down the line. He's thinking extra bases. Rogers slides into second safely for a double, and that was a huge hit as well. Tied in the 10th. We end up taking the lead, and that would start a rally to help us score 4 more runs in the 10th to win the game. Blake Sabol drove in another run, and then Johnny Hackman with a 3-run double to finish it off and help us win 12-7. Over our last 2 games, Tommy Rogers is 7 for 10 with 4 home runs and 6 extra base hits. Is that good? I think that's pretty good. Not the best outing from Kyle Harrison or the pitching as a whole. The Rockies hit the ball well, but 12 runs, 15 hits, doesn't get much better than that. Let's go to the Pittsburgh series now. We split the last 2 games against the Rockies, so we end up winning that series. And let's see what we can do here against the Pirates. Hit streak again on the line for Patrick Bailey. The problem is Patrick Bailey's only really good with runners on base. He's a high leverage merchant, and with nobody on, he only flies out. Now, luckily, we would actually give him another opportunity. The game's tied at 6. Munetaka Murakami with the game-tying home run. Bailey hits it well into right. It is caught, though, by Teoscar Hernandez, so it looks like the hit streak will be over for him at 15 games. Still very impressive nonetheless. And let's see if we can win this game here in extra innings. Not enough at 6. Sure enough, we would. Munetaka Murakami would get a game-winning walk to help us win 7-6. Uncharacteristic, but it gets the job done. Ian Happ homered twice. Munetaka Murakami went deep as well and had the game-winning walk. Stone Garrett also went yard. As for the pitching, Logan Webb was not very good. Bullpen did a great job, though. We ended up winning our next game with a Carson Whisenhunt shutout, and that brings us to the 3rd game. 4-3, 2 on, 2 outs, top of the 9th. Pirates can take the lead. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. Fly out from Veen to right. It's caught by Hackman, and the Giants win this one 4-3. Camilo Doval hangs on. Still is not allowed to run this year. Still has not blown a save. Got a little bit murky there, letting up the 2 runners. but luckily we end up getting the job done. Only 5 hits in this game, but we did score 4 runs, so it looks like we didn't get too many base hits, but when we did, we got clutch hits out of that and scored because of it. Blake Sabol with a strong game, 2 for 4, drove in 3, including a home run. Pretty good start from Kyle Harrison. Bullpen slammed the door. So with that, we ended up losing our last game against the Pirates, but still took 3 out of 4 in that series. And since our matchup against the Phillies, we have played quite well, 8-3 over this last 11-game stretch. And now we'll see what we can do against the Dodgers. Although there is one guy I want to highlight real quick. John Schreiber is 9-1. In his career before this year, he won 9 games. Leads all pitchers in Major League Baseball in wins. Has more than double the amount of wins that any other relief pitcher has. Second in All-Star voting. Second in the Cy Young. I think we might have lost the plot with him being this high for the Cy Young. Pitching wins are not that important of the stat, but it is still pretty cool. I do want to talk about the Carson Whisenhunt game real quick. This was his first start of the year, and he was awesome. 7 1/3 scoreless innings. ERA is down to 1.35. He has been lights out the entire season. I'm not sure if I can expect this to keep up, but I do really want to pitch with him. So we are going to do that here in this Dodgers series. We're going to play the last game. Ended up losing the first 2. That's not good. Dodgers with 9 runs and 16 hits in this first game. Just an all-around bad performance from the team. Then in this second game, Logan Webb again was mediocre. His ERA is now in the 4s. Hasn't been a very consistent year for Logan Webb, I've got to be honest. Logan Webb has never really finished with high WARs, but he's always played well. This year his WAR is high and his play isn't as good. That doesn't really make sense to me. I thought WAR was supposed to go up if you perform well. Isn't that how it works? Anyway, let's try to avoid the sweep. We're trailing in the series 2-0. We're on a 3-game losing streak. We have not been swept at all the entire season, so it certainly wouldn't be a good look to do that against our number 1 rival. Here's Carson Whisenhunt, who's pitched in 8 games this year, started in 1. He has been a rock star, 1.35 ERA, 1.05 whip. I'm really enjoying this breakout. Again, I don't know how long it's going to continue, but I'm loving what I'm watching as Luis Gonzalez strikes out. A guy who we really liked coming out of the draft a few years ago. He's really developed well here in LA. Harold Ramirez gets that one by J.P. Crawford for a base hit. And the Dodgers have a runner aboard here with 1 away, and that'll bring you up this star-studded middle of the lineup. Ohtani, Trout, and Betts all in a row as Ohtani strikes out. That'll bring up Mike Trout. The old man still got it. Rips it into left center field. Rogers can only watch it fly. That one is gone, and the Dodgers are on the board. They lead 2-0. Trout with his 11th of the year. So after a shutout in his first start, I think it's fair to say that will not be the case again here for Carson Whisenhunt, who doesn't even get the shutout out of the first inning. That'll bring you up Mookie Betts. He finds himself ahead in the count, 3-1, and he draws a walk. Whisenhunt's falling apart here late in this first inning. He's got to get a huge out here against Andy Pages, who's hitting .375, but he goes down looking on the low fastball. That was a great pitch, but not a great inning with the 2-run shot by Trout as we go to the bottom of the first. Kris Bubic will be getting the start here for the Dodgers. The lefty has not been so good this year. 6.23 ERA, 1.62 whip. The Dodgers have lost a lot of depth with some of their big roster moves over the last few years. That's why Bubic is starting for them as he strikes out Tommy Rogers, who returns to his spot at the top of the order. Stone Garrett rips it down the line. That one is caught, though, at first by Harold Ramirez. He gets the start at first over Freddie Freeman with the lefty on the mound. And that brings us into the second. Brett Harris goes down on the fastball. Much better inning for Carson Whisenhunt. He retires the side. Remains 2-0 as we go bottom 2. 2 away for J.P. Crawford. Little lefty on lefty crime. And Crawford's going to come out of this matchup. Sends it to the opposite field. That one goes for a double. The Giants get a runner in scoring position. 2 away. Big opportunity here for the rookie, Johnny Hackman, who hasn't lit the world on fire. But he has improved over these last few weeks. And sure enough, he comes up big. Singles into center. Crawford will score. He is safe. It's an RBI single for Johnny Hackman. And the Giants are on the board as it is now 2-1. Into the third, Luis Gonzalez in the top of the order. Start things off for the Dodgers. He strikes out once again. Nice pitch by Whisenhunt. And the Dodgers have a runner aboard here with 1 away, and that'll bring you up this star-studded middle of the lineup. Ohtani, Trout, and Betts all in a row as we go to the bottom of the first. Kris Bubic will be getting the start here for the Dodgers. The lefty has not been so good this year. 6.23 ERA, 1.62 whip. The Dodgers have lost a lot of depth with some of their big roster moves over the last few years. The Dodgers have lost a lot of depth with some of their big roster moves over the last few years. He's had some impressive flashes of swing and miss stuff. His 5th strikeout of the game. Ramirez now up the middle. Another base hit for Harold Ramirez, his 2nd of the game. And the Dodgers have a runner on first here with 1 away. That'll bring up Shohei Ohtani, the two-way superstar. As that one gets by Bailey, Ramirez looks for second. Bailey threw that ball when Ramirez was halfway through the base path, and he was still almost out. Impressive. Following pitch, Ohtani launches it into right. Folks, it's showtime. 2-run homer for Shohei Ohtani, and it is 4-1 Dodgers, his 18th of the year. Shohei's been the best offensive player in baseball this year as of right now. He has been on a warpath. It's been a rough one here for Carson Whisenhunt. I will say, though, at least the home runs were to Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout. He has an easy excuse. Mookie Betts goes down looking. Dodgers add 2, though, add to the lead with the home run by Shohei Ohtani, and that'll bring us to the bottom of the 3rd. Zach DeZenzo leads things off, getting the start at 3rd today, and he sends this one into the gap. That one is going to drop into Triple's alley. We're going to hold him at 2nd, though. With nobody out, I just want to get the runner in scoring position here. I don't think it's worth taking the risk. He probably would have been out going to 3rd anyway. Top of the order, that starts with Tommy Rogers. He finds himself ahead 2-1. Rogers gets a pitch to hit, but the 3rd baseman, Harris, is at the right place at the right time. Could have been a base hit. Harris makes a nice play. 2 gone now for Garrett. He sends this one into the gap, perfectly placed in Triple's alley. DeZenzo scores, and Garrett's going to have enough time to go for 3rd. There will be no relay at 3rd. He is easily safe. An RBI triple for Stone Garrett, and it is now 4-2, his 3rd triple of the year. We'll see if the Giants can drive him in, as that'll bring up Munetaka Murakami. The average is still quite low, but he launches it into center field, and that baby is gone. Long gone, to be exact, and we are tied at 4. This is the exact response I needed to see from the offense after we really couldn't hit the ball in the first 2 games against the Dodgers. I was hoping we'd be able to come back in this one. I didn't think it'd be this quick, but hey, I'm not complaining. We've got ourselves a ball game into the 4th. Pajes leads it off for the Dodgers. What a play at 3rd. DeZenzo, throw to 1st is in time. Zach DeZenzo is such a good defensive player. If he becomes a consistently average bat, and I don't think he's far off from being that, he's going to play basically every day for us. JT Realmuto strikes out. That'll bring up Jose Ramos. That one is up the middle, and that one goes for a base hit. Dodgers get a runner aboard here with 2 away, and we'll see if they can drive them in, look to get this lead back, as that'll bring you up Brett Harris. 2-2 on its way from Whisenhunt. Swing and a miss on the fastball. Good job there from Carson Whisenhunt to get out of the inning as this score remains tied at 4. And we go to the bottom of the 4th. Crawford leads things off, and he crushes it into right center field. It goes off the wall. Crawford into second base, standing up with a leadoff double. And now the Giants have a golden opportunity to take the lead. We'll see if they can take advantage. That'll bring up the following batter, Johnny Hackman. Drove in a run in his first at-bat. Looking to do so again as it gets by Gonzalez. And this one is going to roll all the way to the wall. Hackman, rounding second, heads for 3rd, and he is safe. They're going to rule that as an error on Luis Gonzalez. And as much as I would love Johnny Hackman to get credit for the triple, I can't really argue against it. That was a routine ground ball for Luis Gonzalez, and he just completely botched it. Giants take the lead with Crawford obviously scoring. And now we have a runner 90 feet away from home with nobody out for high leverage man, Patrick Bailey. And sure enough, as you would expect, base hit. Jose Ramos can't make the play in center. Bailey's going to hold up at first, but the run scores, and it is now 6-4. That'll bring up Zach DeZenzo. He's had a nice day with a hit and a great play at 3rd. Rips that one over the glove of Harris. 109 off the bat. Trout misplays it in left. The defense has fallen apart in this inning for the Dodgers. The error by Gonzalez, the missed catch by Ramos, the blunder from Trout. Bubic is going to be yanked, and he'll be replaced by Gavin Stone. ERA hovering around 5 on the year. 1st and 2nd for Tommy Rogers, and this one is hit into left, and we're going to keep the runners. Bases loaded, nobody out. I know this is our kryptonite, but given the situation, our offense is hitting the ball at an extremely high level. Our best hitters are due up. There's nobody out. There's no way we don't take advantage of this. You have got to be kidding me. You know what? I'm going to look at this positively. We scored, and it's 7-4. Normally when the bases are loaded, we don't score. So the fact that we did here, honestly, is a win. Did Jun-Hoo Lee's at bat here give us the worst case realistic outlook? Yes. Yes, it did. But we scored a run. Can we score another one? Garrett lines it into right center. That one is caught. Did we waste our bases loaded opportunity? Absolutely. But we still scored 3 in this inning, and we are now up by 3, 7-4. The offense is playing really well right now, crushing the baseball as we move into the 5th. Luis Gonzalez looks to make up for his poor defensive play. Garrett chases after into left center, and he cannot make the play. This one will roll to the wall. It'll be a lead-off double, and Gonzalez is aboard in scoring position. So the plan going into that 5th inning is Whisenhunt was going to face off against Gonzalez and then come out of the game no matter what. I wanted to start the inning with the lefty-on-lefty matchup and then go to the bullpen. Obviously, it didn't really work out considering Gonzalez hit a double. But we're still going to execute our part of the plan by taking Whisenhunt out of the game. Certainly not a great start from him. Hopefully not a sign of things to come, and hopefully he'll continue his great season. He'll be replaced by Dylan Tate, who hasn't been very good this year, but he does have a 98 pitching clutch rating. With the runner at third now, Ohtani flies it into left. Hackman's throw is offline, and the run scores off the sacrifice as it's now 7-5. Successful at bat for Ohtani, and the Dodgers are within 2. That inning could have gone worse, though. Overall, Dylan Tate did a pretty good job. Munetaka Murakami strikes again to lead off the bottom of the 5th. This ball has been in the air for a long time. That one is way out of here, and it's 8-5. That ball might have legitimately gone 500 feet. Not quite. Only 479 for his 11th home run of the year. And again, the power has not been the issue for Munetaka Murakami. He is still crushing home runs. Really everything from last year, the home runs, the extra base hits, the walks, the defense, it's all back. The one problem is he's not hitting for consistent contact. His 250 average from last year has gone down to like 170, 180. It's gone up here in the month of May, but still not good. He has been good today, though. I don't want to talk about the negatives with him too much, considering his last 2 at-bats were both homers. Orlando Arcia now puts it on the ground to third. What a play by Harris. And the throw to first is in time. Glove work at the high corner for Harris, and that'll bring up J.P. Crawford. He's had a nice day, 2 for 2 up to this point, looking for the hat trick, and he will not get it. Nice pitch there by Gavin Stone, who's looking to get into a rhythm. Certainly what the Giants are in right now with 4 consecutive innings of scoring. Dylan Tate stays in the game. Another good inning for him. Strikes out Pajes, and that'll bring us to the bottom of the 6th. 2-2 for Bailey. Puts it on the ground. Gonzalez with a nice play. The Dodgers' defense was so bad early. Now all of a sudden they look so good. What is happening? DeZenzo now up for the Giants. Bloops this one into right, and that'll go for a hit. What a night for, I guess, what an afternoon. It's like 2 o'clock. For Zach DeZenzo, he's 3 for 3 now. That'll bring us back to the top of the order. Jun-Hoo Lee bloops it into left. This time it won't drop as Mike Trout ends up with it. I'm not really sure why Trout's in left. I feel like that kind of defeats the purpose of having him play defense because he's such a rangy outfielder and he's got such a good arm. Like, why stick him in left? John Schreiber out of the bullpen here for the 7th. He's not going to get win number 10 today, but he will retire this side as Ramirez strikes out. And San Francisco holds on to their 3-run lead as that'll bring us into the bottom of the 7th. 1 away for Murakami. Can he make it 3 consecutive at-bats with home runs? No. Instead, he strikes out on the changeup. Let's travel into the 8th inning now. Shohei Ohtani leads things off here for Los Angeles. Both offenses have hit a wall since their strong starts, as this one is singled into center. I was hoping to get a couple more at-bats out of Schreiber. It doesn't look like it's going to happen, so we're going to take him out, replace him with Jojo Romero. While all the attention is on Camilo Doval, and deservedly so, Jojo Romero also has not let up a run. He has been equally as good, but with less volume. Trout lines it to first. Murakami tags the runner. Double play. Great defense for San Francisco. We'll see if they can retire this side. 1-2 here for Mookie Betts. And this one is blooped into center. He was literally jumping as he swung that bat. What made him think that was a good pitch to hit? I don't even care that it was a base hit. He was literally jumping out of the batter's box as he swung. Mookie running here on a full count as Pages hits that one off the wall. Is Jojo Romero's no-run streak in danger? Betts goes home. The play is in time. The outfield gets another victim. This time it's Mookie Betts thrown out at the plate. These aggressive base runners might not want to run on these quick throwing San Francisco defenders. It remains a 3-run game, and we'll go to the bottom of the 8th as we take a look at Jorge Lopez, the veteran righty out of the bullpen now for the Dodgers. Hasn't been particularly affected this year. His ERA starts with a number 6. He'll start with Johnny Hackman, goes down looking on the circle change. He wanted to be disciplined there, but that pitch was just barely in the strike zone. Kyler Rodriguez off the bench as a pinch hitter up the middle. That one goes for a base knock. Kyler's had a quieter month of May than he was in April, which I guess was kind of to be expected. I think we need to get him into more of the rhythm by playing him more. We're definitely going to do that in June. Rogers goes down looking, remains 8-5 as we move into the 9th. 3-run lead. Giants are in a comfortable spot, but it's still closing time. Camilo Doval is in for the save. We are looking at now a historic start to the season for Camilo Doval, an unprecedented start of the year. He has pitched in 21 innings, 20 of 20 in save opportunities with an ERA of 0. He has not let up any runs, leads the NL in saves. He has been as perfect as it gets as the closer, and he gets to face off against the 7, 8, 9 hitters. So presumably his scoreless inning streak should continue as Realmuto strikes out. Game comes down to Brett Harris, and this one is crushed into right. For the first time this year, Camilo Doval lets up a run. It's, who would have guessed, Brett Harris, of all people, his second home run of the year. It's not Ohtani, it's not Trout, it's not Betts, it's not Kyle Tucker who's getting the day off. It's Brett Harris. I didn't know who this guy was until I played this game, I've got to be completely honest. So now it's 8-6. Doval still should be able to get the save here. Full count for Gonzalez. Swing and a miss on the cutter, and that'll do it. 8-6, you're fine. A lot of offense in this game, particularly early. Both offenses kind of hit a stalemate later in this one, but the Giants still get the job done, avoiding the sweep. Big day for us at the plate. Murakami led the way. He went yard twice, and hopefully he's able to build up some momentum in what has been a really disappointing season. Pitching wasn't great. I guess it wasn't horrible. Carson Whisenhunt didn't look too good. Bullpen was pretty solid. Doval did let up his first run of the year, but it was bound to happen. Nobody's perfect. He's as close as it gets, though. The stars for this Dodgers team played well. Ohtani had 2 hits and a homer. Trout had 2 hits and a homer. But the one issue with this Dodgers team is as much star power as they have, their lack of depth is noticeable in terms of the lineup, in terms of the pitching. They have sold the farm for many of their big acquisitions, and it is showing. 8 runs, 13 hits. Great day for us at the plate. We had 4 players drive in runs. Johnny Hackman with the big hit early. High leverage man. Patrick Bailey delivers once again. And then the bullpen, again, was fantastic. So with that, we're 37-15 now. We still have the best record in Major League Baseball. We're going to wrap up here the month of May with our next 2 series on the road. We'll start at Pittsburgh and then go to Washington against the Nationals. 2 of the lesser teams in the National League. They're both certainly not awful, but I wouldn't call them good either. We just took 3 of 4 at home against Pittsburgh. Hopefully we can have similar success leading up to our series against San Diego. Edwin Arroyo, torn ACL. That's unfortunate. Arroyo's obviously been one of our top prospects since season 1 when we got him in the Matt Chapman Jonathan India trade. His development has been slower than I would have hoped, but he is having a really good season so far in Double-A, and this sucks. Obviously, he's going to be out for the rest of the season now, and we won't get to see him until next year. I feel like he was finally making some real positive strides in his development. I would have called him up to Triple-A pretty soon. Now, he has been abysmal defensively. I don't think he would have stuck it short, but he's really hitting the ball well, so that sucks. Stone Garrett, broken arm. He'll be out for a month or two. That also sucks. I needed Stone Garrett to pick it up in terms of average and on-base percentage going into the month of May, and he definitely has. He is now hitting .250. The walk rate is still low, but obviously it's a little better than it was. His slugging is still really high. He's having a really strong month, so that certainly is not ideal. And we're going to bring back Heliot Ramos. He's performed well over the last month in AAA. There's nobody else who I'm really in a rush to call up either. So let's go into this game against the Nationals. We ended up sweeping the Pirates. This is the first game against the Nats. Scoreless into the 10th. 7 scoreless for Cade Cavalli. 8 scoreless for Logan Webb. But we've got runners on the corners and a great chance to take the lead. And Orlando Arcia has other plans. This team really has no clutch bone in their body, and it is hard to watch sometimes. It's a 5-4-3 double play. All the Nationals need is 1 here in this bottom half of the 10th. And with the runner at second, not in an ideal spot. But Genesis Cabrera's chugging us along. Let's see if he can get us out of the inning against Terrin Vavra. Down to first, Murakami makes the play. Neither team scores in the 10th. Game remains scoreless as we move into the 11th. We've got 2 runners in scoring position now. No excuse not to bring at the bare minimum one of these guys in. And it'll be the rookie, Johnny Hackman, who gets a huge opportunity here. Trying to drive in the first run of the game. This one is hit high and deep into right at the track, at the wall. It's caught. As soon as he hit it, I knew we were scoring. The question is, are we going to get 1 or are we going to get 3? Unfortunately, it's only 1. Hackman still does not have his first career home run, but we do get the run off the sacrifice. We're finally off the board. And it's 1-0. Yashap grounds it to short. Play is made by Mason Wynn, acquired in an offseason trade with St. Louis. So we finally score here, and now we're going to bring Camilo Doval in to shut the door. His perfect streak of saves is very much on the line here. We'll see if he can get the job done. That starts with Ryan Jeffers. Flies it into right. Going to be a tough play. It is caught. Great job by Johnny Hackman to track that one down. Run does advance over to third. And now the Nationals can tie it if this ball is hit somewhat well into play. So that'll bring up the cleanup hitter, that being Bobby Dahlbeck. He's behind 1-2, and Dahlbeck says good night! That one is gone into left center field, and the Nationals walk it off. Camilo Doval lets up another run, and he blows his first save of the entire year. The Nationals with a walk-off win, 2-1 in 11. You can't really pin this one on Doval or the pitching, though. The offense was a total no-show. We didn't score until the 11th. Not good enough at the plate, and we wasted a brilliant performance from Logan Webb, where he went 8 scoring. Genesis Cabrera was really good. And we can't get mad at Camilo Doval. He's been literally flawless the entire season. Again, it was bound to happen. Cade Cavalli, 7 scoreless. Connor Phillips finishes him off. So look at this here in this next game. Carson Whisenhunt has another shutout going. 8 scoreless. Facing off against Bobby Dahlbeck, who had the walk-off last night. And he does it again! Ruining the hopes and dreams of these Giants pitchers as it goes over the bullpen and it's 5-1. While that is a less consequential home run because we're still up by 4, I think Bobby Dahlbeck might own us. So the shutout is dead for Carson Whisenhunt. Still a brilliant performance from him, and I'm relieved to see his last start against the Dodgers where he allowed 5 earned runs does not look to be carrying over. But the complete game's not going to happen. The shutout's not going to happen. That is unfortunate, but still a brilliant game from him. He'll be replaced by John Schreiber out of the bullpen. Still with 9 wins as he looks to finish this game off here for San Francisco. The ERA has gone down to 1.69. Nice. And sure enough, he would do his job. An uneventful rest of the way, and San Francisco wins it by the final score of 5-1. We might need to have some uncomfortable conversations about Carson Whisenhunt if he keeps this up. If Aaron Savale returns and Whisenhunt is still playing at that pace, Whisenhunt's going to have to stay in the rotation. I don't know whose spot he would take, but he would be taking somebody's because he has been electric this season. Let's go into this last game against the Nationals. We're up 5-1. The bases are loaded. All right, so that means the inning is over. I was hoping to get the triple here with Blake Sabol for the cycle, but since the bases are loaded, I wouldn't count on it. Sabol off the bat. Ooh, nut shot. That, my friends, is why you wear a cup. Because if Brady House does not make the play on that ball there, I think it's fair to say he might not be having children. So he's lucky that he was able to make that impressive grab. Giants do win it again. Final score of 5-1. Another really good outing on the mound. This time it was Kyle Harrison who gets the win. He ended up going 6 2/3, allowing 1 unearned run. The defense, again, continues to be mediocre. Home runs for Rogers, Sabol, and Lee. Jung-Hoo Lee has now gone deep 13 times this year. To put that into perspective, his rookie year, he had 12 homers. I think his career high is 19. His power surge this year has been really impressive. We'll go into more detail in the next episode. But overall, a really good month of May. Obviously, we didn't perform as well as we did in April. But 42-16, we're still the best team in baseball. But the schedule's going to get a lot harder. The only two teams anywhere near as good as us, the Padres and the Cubs. Our next 6 games are against the Padres and the Cubs. And then we're going to see the Padres again later in June. As good as we've been, it's been a pretty easy schedule so far. It's about to get a lot harder. So buckle up. We'll see what this team is really made of here in the month of June in the next episode. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you are new. Peace out.